Buenas tardes. Thank you for having given me the opportunity to come and be part of this very informative and I would say really forward-looking reflections today. I have learned a lot about where it's currently painful, but also looking at how you discuss these matters. I'm very hopeful that we will go forward together as Europe, and Spain being, of course, an important part of our car manufacturing and mobility sector. So my plan today was to look at what this electrified, automated, connected, safe, and also affordable car would look like in the future. And this is going to be a rather quick tour through the various elements of policy making at European level. So I will walk you through some of the latest pieces of regulation in the field. Of course, the vision we have already discussed today, but then also a few points about funding, skills, and very importantly, about the mobilization of the supply chains here in Europe, the resilience of our supply chains, and mobilization of cooperation so that we can be indeed as a team stronger. So let me first recall perhaps briefly the importance of the automotive industry for the EU economy. You have heard already and seen various numbers today. So of course we are building on a very strong history here in Europe, and we are proud that vehicle manufacturing is, and I would say still is, a crown jewel in EU and for our industry. It is indeed a driver of innovation and prosperity in the European Union, providing 2.5 million jobs in automotive industry and at least 10 million indirect jobs as well. Of course, it's also a very key component of our innovation and research world, and we have heard today already that about a third of the EU private research and development investments are in fact driven by automotive sector. The EU is the second largest producer of motor vehicles worldwide, and the EU automotive industry has, at least historically, generated trade surplus of more than 100 billion annually. But I also would like to stress the word it has, and it is still, because we of course have seen today also, and you witness it daily, that we have very important challenges also as to our competitiveness. Maybe one element that we did not discuss today, but I would like to stress, is also that EU automotive industry is really one of the examples of the single market functioning. If we look, for example, at a car manufactured in France, we see that more than 20%, about 22% of the value added, in fact, comes from another member state, be it Germany, be it Spain. So it really shows that car manufacturing is one of the industries which is quite strongly already integrating our markets. And this certainly is an area which, particularly us at European Commission, we would like to push even more forward so that some of the nearshoring or reshoring would happen rather in Europe and not elsewhere. And as we have discussed today, of course, we understand that industry is undergoing a profound transformation, green, digital, but also the competitiveness challenges that we have heard today. So nearly half of new cars registered in the European Union last year were electric or hybrid vehicles. With a battery electric vehicle share now around 15%, the EU is the second largest market for electric vehicles, behind China, but still far ahead of the US. While competition in the past was mainly with established car manufacturers from Japan, Korea, and North America, now, of course, we have a transformative new entrants coming, particularly from China. And the imports of Chinese electric vehicles to the European Union are rapidly increasing. with massive overcapacities in China and also cost advantages on their side. In addition, the automotive value chain is changing. Battery manufacturers are now among the top automotive suppliers. Moreover, Europe is not the world leader in the area of software development and automation technologies. And you have seen in the morning from the speakers before me that if we think of the value of the car in the future, software is going to be actually a much more significant part of the value added. So we really need to watch out here and also accelerate our own capacity building. And then, of course, adding to the complexity in the passenger car industry alone, it is estimated that 2.4 million automotive workers will need to be retrained or upskilled in the coming years to facilitate the transition. The European Commission has actively approached the challenge and has actually put forward various measures to accompany the industry and to lead the way also towards this electrified, automated future of mobility. Among the first steps, we have established, of course, I would say a vision, a pathway to 100% zero-emission cars and vans by 2035, and then heavy-duty vehicles by 2040. And as you also know, 100% of the urban buses should be low carbon or zero carbon by 2035. And let me maybe illustrate a few elements what will bring us there. We did not discuss much today about safety, but it came out in the panel discussions. So we certainly see safety still among the paramount concerns in transportation, and automated mobility takes the safety concerns, of course, to the next level. From collision avoidance systems, adaptive cruise control, to intelligent speed assistance, our vehicles are already today equipped with features that keep us and those around us safe. And this is where the regulatory framework is expected to provide the necessary incentives and accelerate market uptake of new technologies and new technological solutions. And it is actually to be noted that this type of harmonization happens at the international stage. And we have the requirements at the United Nations UNES level. And this, of course, is and remains a very important part of our work at the Commission level, and where member states also, of course, participate. And I'm very proud to mention that European Union is the first region in the world to have already rules for fully automated vehicles in place. Although, yes, currently these rules are for small series productions only, but nevertheless, we have them, and I'm hopeful that the European industry will be able to take good use of this early mover advantage. The traffic rules are also being modified for autonomous vehicles, and the Commission is strengthening the coordination of ongoing work at the United Nations level on the Vienna Convention on Traffic Rules. Then with the Data Act, the Commission has set the framework to make the best economic use of the data generated by connected vehicles, allowing for new connectivity and e-mobility services, which will be then also strongly supported by the recent revision of the Intelligent Transport Systems Directive. And then the upcoming initiative on access to vehicle data, which we are still working on, would of course still complement this framework. We were discussing today about fuels, and of course I need to mention that the Alternative Fuels Infrastructure Regulation, which Commission proposed in 2021, and then it was adopted by legislators in 2023, will incentivize the rollout of charging stations across the continent. And we have seen the demand here in Spain. We're talking about really going multifold, tenfold in the coming years. And this, we hope, will help solve the chicken and egg problem for the transition to zero-emission vehicles. Under the leadership of the European Commission, our European Battery Alliance, which is critical for the success of a decarbonization, promotes the investments in the battery value chain, attracting the industrial participation of some 440 actors and around 100 billion in investment commitments. And this, of course, with aim to make Europe really a strong leader in the sustainable battery production. And in order to improve resilience, the EU has recently adopted the Net Zero Industry Act, the Critical Raw Materials Act, and the CHIPS Act. The Commission is also involved in negotiating several partnerships agreements or memoranda of understanding with countries which are rich in raw materials and minerals for batteries and for digital transition. The Automotive Skills Alliance is helping our industry to undertake the massive re- and upskilling, supporting the objectives of decarbonization and digitalization. As to funding, let me mention that we have two important sources, such as the Innovation Fund and the European Research Funding Scheme, Horizon Europe. The Commission has set aside a dedicated funding under the Innovation Fund of up to 3 billion euros to boost the EU battery manufacturing industry. And this is, of course, expected to create significant spillover effects for the entire European battery value chain. And notably, its upstream segment, as we are supporting the assembly of electric vehicles in Europe. From Horizon Europe, a framework program, the EU has contributed around 500 million in the recent years to support the development and take-up of highly automated and connected driving systems. And of course, we realize 500 million is a good sum, but not sufficient, and it is meant to, of course, mobilize further private investments from the industry. There are also substantial national funding opportunities stemming from the Recovery and Resilience Fund. And we have heard today that Spain is among those member states which are really taking a good use of it. Spain is indeed a prime example in that respect, having just recently allocated some 440 million in grants and loans to the production and recycling of batteries for electric vehicles. And this again should mobilize further billions of private capital. I also need to mention something about China here. In October, the Commission has initiated the anti-subsidy investigation into battery electric vehicles on the basis of prima facie evidence that the recent surge in low-priced and subsidized imports of those vehicles from China into the EU poses an economic threat to the EU electric vehicle industry. If the Commission receives evidence of unfairly traded imports damaging EU industry, it can take necessary action. And the deadline for these provisional measures is 4th of July this year, so 4th of July, a few months to go. In December last year, the Commission proposed one-off extension until December 2026 of the current rules of origin for electric vehicles and batteries under the trade and cooperation agreement with the UK. This will facilitate the exports of EU manufactured vehicles into the United Kingdom, which is the EU's biggest export market for electric vehicles under this preferential regime. This morning, we also heard that in order to face the challenges and to win, not only to participate in the game, but to win, we need to be going together as a team and to join our efforts. And this indeed is in the very center of EU industrial policy and our transition pathways thinking, where we are bringing together the industry, the member states, various stakeholders, so that we could together find ways forward. So in the longer term, the users want clean, affordable, safe cars, which are high quality, which in addition are also connected and automated. And we can envision a world where navigating through our bustling city streets in 2050 is no longer a daunting task, but a seamless, intuitive experience. Connected and automated mobility can bring us real-time navigation and routing, empowering us to effortlessly avoid traffic congestion and discover the most efficient path to our destination. With connected apps that provide real-time charging station information, battery status updates, and smart route planning, electric vehicles become more accessible and convenient than ever before. So when I started my intervention with some enthusiasm about the future, let me also say that, of course, we face these challenges together, and what I heard today makes me more confident to say that although the challenges are significant, if we stick together as Europe, if we build the value chains in Europe, and if we really join up our policy work, we will be much stronger ahead of our competitors, and we in the Commission side will do what it takes from us, and we are relying on you as industry and the member states to very much work together. Thank you for your attention.